Hi, this is Deepak. Guess what? My second um, podcast for the day. But I did want to lose this opportunity. I have with me the great yoga master, teacher, Eddie Stern. He's visiting the Chopra Center. We're starting a course this afternoon on synchrodestiny and the universe, the nature of the universe. We're going to actually talk a little bit about you are the universe, discovering your cosmic self, and why it matters. And one of the reasons it matters is once you discover your cosmic self, you automatically experience synchronicity. So, Eddie, um, we've become friends over the years, and you are here to teach yoga therapy and of course how that works. And one of the things I've been talking about in the new book with Rudy is the dance between the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. And one of the most important nerves in our body, which is the vagus nerve. So over the last few years, I've understood that when the vagus nerve is stimulated, whether through yoga, asana, breathing, it activates self-regulation and healing in the heart, in the abdominal organs, because it goes there, in the microbiome, and then back to the brain through the microbiome, through the neuropeptides that are secreted. So, what can you tell us about why the vagus nerve is so important?
Well, one of the reasons that the vagus nerve is so important is that it branches out to many of our different internal organs. So, for example, of the vagus nerve, first of all, is the 10th of the cranial nerves. We have 12 cranial nerves. Most of them just go to one place, like either to the eyes or to the ears or etc. The vagus nerve, rather than having one location that it goes to, extends down through the trachea, it goes to the larynx, it goes to the soft palate, it goes into the heart, it goes into the lungs, it goes to the diaphragm, it goes to the liver, it goes to the spleen, to the pancreas, and to the intestines, all the way up to the transverse colon.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. The branches of it that also influence facial muscles,
Yes,
and because it goes here to the larynx,
to the larynx,
the
vocal
tone of the voice, um, eye movements. No, that's a different
No,
nerve, right?
that's
That
ocular.
oculomotor.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it influences our facial expression, tone of our voice. In other words, uh, the body kind of mirrors what you're feeling in
Yeah,
consciousness,
it does.
right?
In fact, Darwin was one of the first people to discover the vagus nerve. He called it the pneumonogastric nerve, and he called it the nerve of emotion. Because what we were experiencing as an emotion in the heart was being transmitted up to the vocal tone into the facial expression. So how do we recognize emotion in each other? Mainly through our facial expressions and through our vocal tone. If I lower my voice into a very menacing tone, automatically you know to respond with fear or to be alarmed in some way. If I talk in a very high-pitched, sweet tone, you're going to recognize that not only in my facial expression, but in my tone of voice too. So one of the ways that we connect with each other emotionally are through these two aspects, which are controlled by the vagal nerve.
And these emotions, of course, influence our biology, right? If you're experiencing love or compassion or empathy or joy or happiness or peace of mind, automatically you have a different biology than if you were experiencing fear, anger, hostility, resentments, grievances, depression,
Yeah.
guilt or shame. So,
We have a physiological response to emotion and state of mind.
which is influenced, according to what you've been saying,
Yeah.
neurologically through the vagus nerve, but
Yeah.
also the peptides associated with emotions, whether it's adrenaline or cortisol on one side, or dopamine, oxytocin, opiates, serotonin, and all of these happen to be modulating the immune system as well.
Yes. So when we look at one of the great maladies of our time is the inability to deal with stress and to have too much environmental load coming at us at one time. So when we have too much of a load coming from the outside world, we have a sympathetic nervous system response, which is to either run away from the situation or fight from the situation. What happens at that point is the braking mechanism of our nervous system becomes impaired. So the sympathetic nervous system is our accelerator, makes us go faster, and the parasympathetic is our braking system, which makes us slow down. When we have too much environmental load, then our braking mechanism gets impaired. The accelerator does what it does anyway. So with all the yoga practices, whether yoga postures or breathing or meditation or chanting, or just practicing acts of kindness, what that does is it helps us to activate the braking mechanism again, so we can slow down, we can reacquaint ourselves with our inner being, we can take a few deep breaths, automatically begins to help us fix the braking mechanism. So, and the vagus nerve controls the braking mechanism.
By the way, I was reading somewhere that the word vagus, which is a Latin word, is related to the English word vagabond. So
yes,
it goes
wanders
everywhere.
everywhere.
So, I have to take a break. That's part of my obligation to Facebook. And in 15 seconds, we'll come back, and Eddie is going to tell us some very... So Eddie, who's a great yoga master, yoga teacher, he comes from the school of Ashtanga Yoga. His guru was Pratabi Joyce. He has a studio in Brooklyn. What is it called now?
It's called Ashtanga Yoga New York and the Brooklyn Yoga Club.
The Brooklyn Yoga Club. If you happen to be in New York, you should check it out. But Eddie, I talk all the time about meditation, and of course, I'm addicted to meditation. I love it, and I do it every day early in the morning. But I think even a short breathing break, like taking a minute off, stopping, maybe smiling to yourself, and doing a short breathing exercise can stimulate the vagus nerve, right?
Yeah.
What's the best breathing technique?
Okay, so the simplest breathing technique is something called coherence or resonance breathing, where you gradually train yourself to breathe somewhere between 5 and 7 times per minute. This happens naturally when you meditate. So for any meditator, if they just go into a meditative zone, their breathing rate slows down to this speed. What happens at that point is your heart rate variability, and your blood pressure and your brain waves all come into the same rhythm at the same time, because normally they're going in different patterns. And what happens at that point is the vagus nerve is toned, inflammation begins to decrease, and our baseline resiliency of being able to deal with stress begins to improve as well. So
let's see, how do we do it?
So this is all you do. You can sit comfortably in your chair, put your hands on your belly, and because you don't want to be breathing in the upper chest, and inhale for about a count of 4, and then exhale for about a count of 5. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 5. Feel the belly come in. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 5. And do this 1 or 2 more times, inhaling calmly for 4. Exhaling for 5. Okay, so this is all you have to do. If you do that for anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes a day, it has this cumulative effect on resetting your baseline parasympathetic nervous system response, which again, parasympathetic is rest and digest. But if you only have 1 minute a day to do it, you can just do it for 1 minute as well.
See, I'm checking my heart rate right now.
How's your heart rate? Is at 60, which is excellent.
Yeah,
You're in perfect health.
Yeah, I think so. I am. So I hope you benefited from that. Just a short break. 5 minutes or more? Or
yeah,
10 minutes?
If you can do 10 minutes a day, it's great. Can we tell them about the app?
Yeah, counting into the
Count in
to 4.
from anywhere from 4 to 6.
Okay, and count out a little longer than
1 or 2 beats longer.
Longer.
Yeah.
So if we count into 4, then 5 or 6 is the out
Correct.
breath.
Yeah.
And you'll be stimulating the vagus nerve.
Yes.
You were talking about the new app you've just developed.
We have an app called the Breathing App, and we're going to release it on October 5th, and we'll be releasing it with Jayo.com also.
Yeah, check out Jayo because Eddie has a program there as well.
Yep.
You'll see all his videos.
And all the app does is it guides you in coherence breathing. It's going to be free, it's extremely simple, and it will just help you get into a coherent rate so that you can train your nervous system to go there automatically when you need it.
So, I do my full yoga asana program in the morning, which
Yes.
takes me about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But in the evening, if I have extra time, I do like 3 sun salutations or, 3 cat cows or something like that. Does that have an effect on the vagus nerve?
It does, especially because whenever you're breathing and moving together at the same time, coordinating breath and movement, it's going to tonify the vagal nerve, which is why exercise where you are not breathing can throw off your heart rate variability, but exercise where you are breathing will improve your heart rate variability.
So heart rate variability actually, which is the beat to beat variation, if it is increased, it shows flexibility to the environment. If it's very rigid, it shows sympathetic overdrive. And heart rate variability is one of the best ways to see if somebody is stressed or not. So
And a measure of cardiac health also.
and measure of cardiac health. So I hope this has been useful to you. As you know, you can write to me at info@jayo.com. Once again, info, info@jayo, JIYO.com. I have hundreds of questions from all of you, but they are put in a queue and I answer at least one every day, which I did this morning from a person from Iraq who asked how can he remain peaceful in the violent environment. So that was this morning. Check it out and you can send your questions also. info@jayo.com. Check out Eddie's videos on Jayo as well. Soon the app, and if you're in New York, pay a visit to the Brooklyn Yoga Club.
Yep.
Okay? Thanks for joining us, guys, and see you tomorrow.